When our sons were growing up years ago, they both had issues, problems in school. It was not something that came easy for them. As a result, our family really went through a lot of rough times. It was difficult to find help in agencies around at the time, and we really felt like they were falling through the cracks, that there was nothing there to help them. We learned about CCFI much later, the work that it had done with families and children, and we thought, gosh, there's a real need for some programs to help youth, to help older youth, like our sons, that when they were experiencing the difficulties that they went through. We hoped that we could maybe help establish a program like that, but we just didn't have the resources and the know-how to do it. We wanted to partner with CCFI to help establish programs that would specifically help older youth.
We hope to be able to establish groups for this age group so that these kids will have the therapy they need, the help they need, the support, and the feeling of belonging and of working together. A lot of youth that don't fit in have social skill problems. They don't relate well to others, or they don't trust others enough. And this gives them a peer group to develop their social skills, to develop their minds, to develop their ability to express their emotions and understand other people. Just a whole lot of benefits. And we hope to help create groups in various settings around Norman, the schools, perhaps outpatient treatment at some point, inpatient treatment, to reach as many youth as possible to get them this help that they need.
I think the legacy that we'd like to leave behind would be programs in place that reach across all of the spectrum, the schools, the state and local agencies, all of the nonprofit groups that are out there working together to reach as many youth as possible, as many people as possible, so no one is left behind in healing from the trauma that's out there. We think there's a real lack of services right now, enough services. There's some out there, but not enough. And if we can reach as everyone in this community that needs help can get the help that they need, that would be a great legacy for us to leave behind.
And that's the starting point. We also envision having it spread through the help of these other agencies and the communities, and eventually reach Oklahoma City and surrounding communities, eventually spread to the state, maybe even beyond. When I was a child, even though I came from a well-to-do family and had a lot of advantages, there was some neglect and some, it wasn't of physical needs, but it was of emotional needs. I was criticized a lot. I didn't feel important. I really didn't feel loved, and didn't realize what an unusual situation I was in until much later. I suffered from chronic trauma as a child, and I later discovered that in the adverse childhood experiences, I had half or more of those. And I had a couple of acute traumas when I was 18 and 19, and I went for help. Talk therapy was minimally helpful, because I think it is helpful in the case of someone who has really repressed trauma and they don't know why things aren't going well in their lives. It really helps them to uncover the sources of their problems sometimes. I knew the sources of my problems. It did not help me to change my behavior. It didn't help me to change my emotional reaction to triggers, and I still have issues with that. So our kids and I especially, both looked for things that would help. I looked for things that would help with myself. For years, I looked for things that would help with my children. They were through all sorts of therapies. And finally, a few years ago, I discovered the trauma center in Boston that helped people and whose philosophy resonated with me. And I was really excited about it. So I went to several summer institutes there and was just awestruck by the difference in the approaches there. And one of those was trauma drama. And the speaker was fabulous. He was very dynamic. You could tell that he really cared about things. He was a professional therapist. He was a scholar. He'd written articles. And I don't think anybody who heard him was bored for a moment. So I wanted him to come to Norman and share that. I wanted to get trauma drama launched through CCFI. And thanks to CCFI, it's starting to happen, and I'm really excited about that.
When anyone in the family is experiencing trauma or has experienced trauma, it affects the whole family. It affects their relationship with each other and with the community, and I think that healing of that type of trauma it takes a group effort. I don't think anyone can do it by themselves, and we've seen how effective the healing can be when you involve others in that, and a large group of people working together that have experienced similar things. So we're very excited about some of the new therapies that are available and that CCFI is going to help establish for our community. We'd like everybody to have an opportunity to heal the effects of trauma in their lives.